Every year, over 80% of Canadians make donations to more than 86,000 registered charities in Canada. Global research shows that Canadians are among the most generous people in the world in making charitable donations. There are many motivations to support charities, but most people want to feel that they are helping to make Canada and the world a better place. So, it's important to ask, what roles can and do Canadian charities play to improve global well-being? Charities provide much-needed services in communities across Canada and around the world. But just providing services won't solve issues like poverty, human rights violations, environmental degradation, and climate change. Charities also need to work to change laws and policies at all levels of government, in Canada and globally. That is, they need to engage in public policy advocacy. This research project by Dr. John Cameron and his team at Dalhousie University examines the advocacy work of Canadian international development organizations to reduce poverty, protect human rights, and promote environmental sustainability. It analyzes the legal and regulatory framework for advocacy by charities in Canada and the ways in which international development charities work within that framework. So far, the results of the research give cause for both concern and optimism. The legal and regulatory context for advocacy by charities in Canada is highly restrictive, outdated, and inconsistent. Research shows that in the current legal context, most Canadian charities see policy advocacy work as risky business. Analysis shows that less than 25 international development organizations in Canada invest any resources in work to engage Canadian citizens and politicians in efforts to bring about policy and legal changes. And a much smaller number of organizations invest more than a few $1,000s or engage with policymakers more than a few times a year. But the same data shows that international development charities invest more than 10 times more in policy advocacy work as a portion of their total expenditures than the Canadian charitable sector as a whole. Many Canadians would rather see their donations go directly to services for communities in need, rather than to struggles for legal and policy change, even if those struggles might have bigger long-term impacts. So, the research shows that Canadian charities need to find ways to better communicate with Canadians about the roles they can and do play to contribute to policy change. The next step is to examine the specific strategies of Canadian charities engaged in public policy advocacy to better understand how charitable organizations can contribute most effectively in promoting policy change. To learn more about this research, go to johndcameron.com/international development NGOs in Canada.